Let's dine and dash, but forget we're wearing team jackets. I was working at Angelo's when 8 teenage guys walked in wearing bright red and gold jackets that said Valley View Wrestling across the back. They sat down and immediately started being obnoxious, snapping fingers at me and laughing when I had to come back for the 4th time because someone suddenly needed more ranch. One kid kept asking for ranch on everything, including his pizza, because his friends thought it was hilarious. They were showing off for each other, trying to see who could be the biggest pain. I stayed polite because fighting back would just make it worse. They ordered 3 large pizzas, appetizers, sodas, breadsticks, basically everything on the menu. The bill was climbing past $100 and they kept adding more. About 40 minutes in, they got quiet and started whispering while looking at their phones. A couple of them took off their jackets because it was warm inside and draped them over their chairs. I thought they were just texting, but something felt off about the sudden shift in energy. When they finished eating, one kid waved me over with this smirk and asked for a pitcher of water to share before they left. It seemed random since they'd been drinking soda, but I went to fill it anyway. When I came back 40 seconds later, the entire table was empty. My stomach dropped. They dined and dashed. The bill was $112, and I'd probably have to cover part of it from my tips. I stood there furious at myself for not seeing it coming. Then I looked at the chairs. 2 jackets were still hanging there, Valley View Wrestling printed across the back with their school mascot. These morons planned this whole theft and forgot they were wearing uniforms with their school name on them. Some even left their jackets behind in the rush. I pulled out my phone and Googled Valley View High School. The secretary answered and I explained their wrestling team just walked out on a $100 bill. She transferred me immediately to the athletic director. He picked up, already sounding annoyed. I told him what happened, that they were wearing team jackets, that I had 2 of the jackets as proof. He sighed hard and said he'd handle it personally. He asked for our address. I found my manager Tony to explain what happened. Tony's my step-uncle, my stepdad's younger brother, and he's protective of me. When I told him the wrestling team dined and dashed on me specifically, he went quiet in that scary way. Tony hates thieves normally, but when it's family getting screwed over, he takes it personally. He told me to clock out early and not worry about the bill. Next day I came in, and Tony was smiling. He said after I left yesterday, he drove straight to Valley View High School with the receipt and their abandoned jackets. He walked into the principal's office and explained their wrestling team stole from his restaurant and the server was his niece. The principal called in the entire wrestling team right there. Tony stood in the office while the principal confronted them. They tried denying it, but Tony had their jackets and the time-stamped receipt. The school checked security cameras and saw all 8 leaving together exactly when I'd called. They were caught. The principal made each one apologize to Tony's face. Then he suspended them from the next 3 matches. The coach was furious because this made his program look terrible right before a tournament, so he added punishment conditioning for the rest of the season. But the principal wasn't done. He called their parents immediately and made the kids empty their pockets, wallets, and Venmo accounts right there in the office until they scraped together enough money. He didn't just make them pay the $112 though. He added a mandatory 40% tip on top because he said they needed to learn stealing affects someone's actual income. Tony walked out with $157 cash. He handed me all of it the next day. I asked if he wanted to split it since he did all the work, but he said no. They stole from me and I deserved every cent of it plus the extra for the trouble. Those kids never came back to the restaurant.